Good evening and welcome to Be Inspired with Pepe Minambo. Another great evening of insight and inspiration. And courtesy of Aquafina, only what essential, we've been able to come to your homes tonight. So it's a great evening where I would like to talk about, and this is our final kind of engagement and reflection on championing change at a personal level, at family level, at community level, at organizational level, even at national level. We've been talking for the past few weeks on the making of a change champion. How do you drive what you call transformative change? What does it take to drive such kind of change? There's a Chinese saying that says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the next best time to plant a tree is now. I know a lot of people live with regrets to say, I wish I had changed this when I was 20, or when I was 30, or 40, or when I was living abroad, or when my father was around, when I was still having my children, or they have excuses and stories. So I want to say this. The best time to bring about change in your life was 20 years ago. And the next best time to change something is now. The reason most people do not change or do not change stuff in their lives is because they just overthink. In fact, many years back, I used to tell people, you have about 3 to 4 kinds of thinkers. You have people that group think. They don't have a life of their own. They live other people's lives. If you've read my book, Beyond Limits, I quote the late Steve Jobs. I say, Steve Jobs at one time was speaking somewhere and he told people, he said, say no to dogma. And what is dogma? According to Steve Jobs, dogma is living someone else's life. The dreams you have, the priorities you have, the style you have embraced, everything about you is not authentic. You are trying to be someone else. You are trying to do what someone else has done. If someone say, be yourself because every other person has been taken. Be yourself. Say no to dogma. Is the life you are living your authentic life, or it's a borrowed life? The dreams you are pursuing, the aspirations, the passions, are they coming deep from your subconscious? Or these are things influenced by geography, location, influenced by demographics because everybody within your age bracket is doing it, or influenced by economics because the situation financially has forced you into it, or influenced by social media or mainstream media, or by your grandmother or grandfather's life ideology, or by just the normal education or religion you subscribe to. Are you living your true life? I've said in this show before, I say one time I was invited to go to speak to Trinity College Nabingo, and I spoke to the candidate, and I've been there several times. One thing I loved about Trinity College Nabingo is their school motto: be true, and say no to dogma. Maya Angelou say, if you don't like something, change it. And if you can't change it, change your attitude toward it. And you know what? Do not overthink. So there are people who group think. They group think. When everybody is failing, they fail. When everybody is complaining, they complain. When everybody is relocating to the Middle East, they relocate. When everybody is changing jobs, they just group think. Are you a victim of group think? Number 2, you have people who remote think. Their thinking is always on remote kind of control. You know, they live in the past. Someone told me, look here, yesterday is a council check. Yesterday is a council check. Tomorrow is a promissory note. And today is ready cash. Use it. Now you see, change is lived in the present tense. Not yesterday and not tomorrow. I say, yesterday is a cancel check. Tomorrow is a promissory note. It may or may not come. And today is ready cash. So I say, number one, there are people who group think. They think like every other person. If everybody's late, they are late. If everybody can't deliver, they can't deliver. If everybody say it's impossible, they say it's impossible. When everybody stops, they stop. When everybody's going to parties, they go to parties. They live lives that is not theirs. I'm sorry, I travel around Uganda and I travel around Kampala. But you go to a community where you see all houses looking the same. Then you wonder, you mean everybody had to have a small garage, a small compound, a small hedge, everything the same. So you have no life of your own. Create the future. Change champions create. Change champions reinvent. Change champions reimagine. Change champions rethink. So I say number one is groupthink. Number two is remote thinking. And number three is circle thinking. There are people who think in circles. They live their lives in circles. Where you found them 20 years ago is where you find them 20 years later. Where you found them 5 years ago is where you find them 5 years later. The things they've been doing, the places they've been going, the people they've been associating with, the books they've been reading, the lives they've been living. They are living in circles. There is no growth. There is no growth. Wow. Amazing. So, people living in circles, look at your career. Look at your family. Look at your enterprises. And look at your life, your dreams. Look at your job. Are you living in circle? Are you going in circle? I would like people to meet you today and see a new level. And they meet you next year and they see a new level. Embrace novelty. Life becomes interesting when it is made of diversity, when it's made of, it's a rainbow kind of a scenario. Multiple colors, multiple experiences, multiple adventure, multiple sight, multiple people, multiple insight, multiple perspective, and living life to the fullest. I came so that they may have life and have life fully. I say number three, circle thinking. And then you have people, I say number one, group thinking. Number two, you have people who do remote thinking. Number three, you have people who do circle thinking. And then number four, you have people who are futuristic, in their way of thinking. So, as I said last time, I've introduced a new ritual on this show. Every time you come to watch me on Tuesday nights, I'd like you to have your journal. I want you to have a dedicated journal, a dedicated notebook for Be Inspired with Pepe Minambo. So you can write on top of the book, Be Inspired with Pepe Minambo Rendezvous. So this is a rendezvous show whereby we talk about things that stimulate us intellectually, things that challenges us to look at life differently. So what are we talking about today? As I said earlier, we are finishing our series on championing change and transformation at personal level, at family level, at community level, at organizational level, and even at national level. And I've been talking about characteristics of change champions. One of the attributes most change champions have is that they pioneer. They pioneer. Pioneering simply means being the first mover advantage. Look around in town. Anyone on top of their game, either in business, social work, in entrepreneurship or career or any type of growth, a lot of these people had what you call the first mover advantage. I met an old man recently living on a hill overlooking the lake, the scenery, the view, breathtaking. And I asked this mzee, I say, wow, this is amazing living. This is the best view I've seen in Kampala. So, how long have you been living here? He told me, my son, when I came in here, there was nobody around here. I was alone. There were no these trees. There were no these structures. The whole place was empty. And then I had the privilege to choose the best spots in the locality and the best view in the city. I say it's called the first mover advantage. Would you pioneer? Would you go to uncharted frontiers? Last week I talked about the blue ocean thinking. There are two kinds of oceans in life. You have the red ocean where everybody is stepping on everybody's toes. Then you have the blue ocean. So they pioneer. Look around in your organization. Look around in your community. Look around the country. What services are not there yet? What things are not done yet? What kind of concept not being embraced yet? Pioneer. Would you pioneer? You could say, Pepe, but every other thing you may imagine and think is already here in this country. But you know one thing? If you can't pioneer, you can't reimagine. You can't reinvent. You can reinterpret. You can redefine whatever is there. But let me tell you, for you to be a change agent, to champion change at any level in society, you must pioneer. Pioneer again. You know, I park mostly in town when I'm in town doing errands, and I park at Watoto church parking. And whenever I go into the building, and they have this theme in 2024, simply that read, pioneer again, pioneer again. Now, I think maybe for the Watoto community, pioneer again was the transition in leadership from the founder to the current pastor. He pioneered 40 years ago, and they are challenging the members or the leaders to go and pioneer again. My challenge to you in your workplace, pioneer. In the marketplace, pioneer. Wherever you are, pioneer. Because change is about pioneering. But then if you can't do it afresh, you can't reinvent it. You can't reimagine it. You can't rebrand it. You can't rethink it. You can't redefine it. What is it in your life that you need to pioneer? Pioneer in your health, again. Pioneer with your finances, again. Pioneer with your business dreams and ambition. Pioneer with your investment. Pioneer in your career. Pioneer in your professional growth. Pioneer in everything you do. So I say, to be a change champion, the first thing not the first thing, there are many things I've been talking about for the past 4 weeks. One of the most critical you should do here is pioneer. Pioneering thinking. So number one, groupthink. No life of your own, living out of dogma. Number two, remote think, living with regrets and wishing. And number three, circle think, living in circles, fixed mindset, not growth. And number four, pioneering futuristic thinking. So the homework tonight, pioneer, courtesy of Aquafina, only what's essential. We are coming to you tonight, and we will be right back to continue with this reflection. Thank you.